Hello, everyone. Coming up here on the Pro Wrestling Show presents the Raw Ring Report. What a show we have for you as the new WWE Undisputed Universal Champion of the world, Roman Reigns, appears on the show since winning the championship in a historic match over Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. Roman Reigns trying to claim his territory and his point. He does it on Raw, and we'll see what Roman Reigns has to say on the red brand. Also, too, though we all said Veer was coming, Veer has debuted and he has arrived, and Veer has done some destruction. And I mean some destruction that you won't believe Veer did. We'll talk about that. And two, we'll talk about a whole list of others as the debut of Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes has returned to Raw. Cody Rhodes returning back to Raw to set his sights on what's next for the American Nightmare. As we start the Raw Ring Report right now. Hello, everyone. This is Kendra Diggs here. Yes, this is Kendra Diggs here for your Raw Ring Report here on Connect TV. We're a little bit late, but normally we try to get back in order. But we thank you for watching the Pro Wrestling Show presents the Raw Ring Report. We got a lot to get to. But first thing first, join in the conversation using the hashtag Pro Wrestling Help Connect. And don't forget to subscribe. Subscribe is can. Tell a friend, call a friend, hit that subscribe button so you won't miss a thing here on the Pro Wrestling Show. So we got a lot to get to. Let's start with the Raw Ring Report. On the Raw Ring Report this evening, we saw it right here. This man right here, at the 6-year hiatus, Cody Rhodes has returned to WWE. Now you may be wondering, like, we know the backstory with Cody, when him and AEW had a falling out, and now Cody Rhodes has returned. He had that spectacular match. Spectacular match at WrestleMania against Seth Rollins. No question about it. Cody Rhodes is back, and Cody Rhodes is here to make a point. Cody Rhodes also spelled out that he wants to go for championship goal. He wants to do something that his father could not do and win the WWE championship. And Cody want to make his big papa Dusty proud. For me, it's like a return back home. Cody Rhodes returning home after he was in AEW for so long. Cody Rhodes, doing his thing, and like I said, you can't fault Cody Rhodes for what he wants to do and how he wants to live his life. And like I said, with Cody, this is far from over, and I can tell that Cody wants to live, do things he wants to do. And with Cody, I can see that it's a possibility. Him having that match with Seth Rollins was great. I really thought the Undertaker was going to be the opponent, since the Undertaker was teasing that never say never attitude, but it turned out to be Cody. And Cody and himself had the match of the night. You couldn't keep your eyes on it. I was so drawn to what Cody was saying. We know Cody's coming back to right the wrong, and he wants to be a world champion eventually, someday, somehow. And Cody might get that chance down the road. But Cody coming back, looking prouder than ever. Can't believe it. So congratulations in order to Cody. Also, too, the women's tag team championship was on the line as new defending champion Sasha Banks and Naomi appeared on Raw, and they took on the team of Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley. Now we know Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan have been on the losing streak as of late, but Rhea Ripley being frustrated that Liv is losing and Liv not doing her end of the bargain. So I don't know for sure and don't know for a fact on what's going on with that. But then there's rumors and reports that Rhea could join Edge's new form group with Damian Priest already in line. But we'll get to that in a minute. But let's get to the business at hand. As you see right here, um, Sasha Banks and Naomi. Could Sasha Banks Naomi be a dominant tag team? And also too, I predicted last week on the Predict the Outcome special that on the Pro Wrestling Show this past week that they were going to be the women's tag team champions and become the first black women's tag team champions. And they've done so. And probably during the test of time, we'll see how all this plays out in the end. But we know that next week that Rilla and Liv have their opportunity once again to pull out to become tag team champions again, become tag team champions. And we'll see in that matter next week. Also, too, Braun Breaker made somewhat of a rare appearance on the main roster when he went against NXT champion Dolph Ziggler in a match, which I did not see it coming, but like I said, we'll see it. And Braun Breaker and Dolph Ziggler battled it out for the NXT championship, but then Braun Breaker won back the NXT championship. I'm kind of confused why they did that on Raw rather than on NXT tonight. Rather on the pay-per-view, on the Premium Live. I'm kind of confused on that. I just don't get it, but maybe I need to be on rocked on head or something. It's kind of weird, but congratulations to Braun Breaker. He inducted his family members, the Steiner brothers, his father and uncle, into the WWE Hall of Fame. And hey, you get the perks of what you paying. So congratulations in order to Braun Breaker for winning the NXT championship. He might show it tonight on NXT. Who knows? Speaking of champions, Bianca Belair had to pay a price. She went to war. And she went to war against Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch hasn't been seen on site. Bianca Belair, with her bruised eye a little bit, a gap closed eye, won the WWE Raw Women's title. And Bianca, that black girl magic, showing shine. Bianca Belair winning her second women's championship at WrestleMania, back to back at WrestleMania. And Bianca Belair doing the thing, and she said she had to pay a price, and she paid the price, but it's all well worth it for Bianca Belair winning the WWE Raw Women's Championship. Well, we know this past week when he got humiliated this past WrestleMania, Kevin Owens got humiliated after he got embarrassed and called out Stone Cold Steve Austin. Stone Cold Steve Austin defeated Kevin Owens in an impromptu no holds barred match when the Rattlesnake won within 19 years of his last WrestleMania. We thought his retirement. This had to be his retirement for Austin, but Kevin Owens didn't glow and got mad and frustrated, saying he tricked the Rattlesnake, and the Rattlesnake took the bait. Well, KO took the bait all right, and next thing you know, he appears. I was wondering, who is this? And his name is Ezekiel. Kevin Owens tried to figure out who he was, and Kevin Owens thought that he was Elias. But Ezekiel said he is Elias's younger brother, which I'm not falling for that. Kevin Owens walked out the ring, and it was a stage of confusion, and I guess that's Kevin Owens' next feud against Ezekiel going forward. So we'll see on that. Plus, too, we know that Veer has a debut. Veer, we were talking about it. Everybody was trying to make memes of it, but Veer has debuted, and Veer has debuted in Target. The Mysterio family. Veer attacked the Mysterios. I know what he did so with Dominic and Ray, leaving them out and about. Veer attacked Dominic and Ray. Veer will have his very own match, his debut match next week on Raw, when he takes on Rey Mysterio, the legendary luchador. Can Rey Mysterio outmatch and get revenge for his son after what Veer did? Because Veer did some damage. I mean, Veer did some heavy damage. And the Mysterio family try to win over Veer after what Veer had done. Veer has really debuted on Raw. Well, we know this. We knew this was coming. We knew this partnership was coming. MVP has turned his back on his longtime ally, Bobby Lashley. MVP done the despicable stuff that he did this week on Raw. We kind of knew why MVP wasn't around Lashley. Now we know. We know Almas can't talk worth a lick, and now he's with the side of MVP. MVP did the same for Bobby Lashley, but times change. It was time for them to go on by pastures. This make more sense. MVP aligned himself with Almas, and now going forward, you'll see MVP and Almas in the match whatsoever down the road for them. Also, too, Austin Theory getting his comeuppance from last week when him and the chairman both got their comeuppance. From Austin Theory got his comeuppance from Pat McAfee, and Pat McAfee took one to go against the chairman. The chairman got his comeuppance from Stone Cold Steve Austin. The chairman won his match against McAfee, which that was a embarrassing movement for McAfee to even take something like that. This almost too over Lashley, but we'll talk about that. The chairman did what he did, and now Austin Theory sided himself with the Usos, the tag team champion from SmackDown, to take on the Raw tag team champion, Ray RK Bro, and the United States champion, Finn Balor. So we see all this. Theory even got to pin the United States champion. Theory could be in contention for the U.S. title down the road. So look for Theory getting a title shot some way, somewhere down the road. Also, too, Edge. Edge appeared as a grim, I don't know what you want to call it, new grim persona. Edge from the Radar Superstar. Now we know that at WrestleMania, Edge defeated AJ Styles, which I kind of knew he was going to do. But Edge had aligned himself with Damian Priest, who was at WrestleMania and caused a distraction for Edge to get the win. Edge and Priest now, this unholy alliance. We don't even know what's going on right there. Edge and Priest now aligned, and I guess Edge and Priest are going to do the backing of what they need to do. I guess Raw is the show that everybody, is like jockeying in position. So see how these changes, twists and turns and stuff. Even someone pointing out with Edge and Edge and what's his name about joining the dark side, and we'll see. But like I said, this Edge and Damian Priest attacking AJ Styles, leaving him out, is something to talk about. But we'll see as this all plays out. And someone even wrote this. Brody King from AEW wrote, "When you order House of Black on Wish." Know what he talking about right there, but Edge and Priest, it's very fascinating. We're going to see how this all plays out. Mary Ann. Also, too, the Street Profit. They was in action, and hold on. We hopefully Finn Balor and AJ Styles team together to take on Edge and Fury. We'll see, but there's never a possibility. But we know next week on Raw, AJ Styles will take on Damian Priest 1-on-1. See how this all heads out in the next. We'll see. Plus, too, the Universal Champion Roman Reigns, the new WWE Universal Champion Roman Reigns, appeared on Raw and Roman Reigns had a lot to say, and Roman Reigns appeared with his stable in court in Kemp. You see Paul Heyman flanked by Paul Heyman and the Usos, the tag team champion. Roman Reigns addressed the WWE Universe and had to say what he had to say. And talking about he got something to say this week on Raw, this week on SmackDown, and you got to tune in to SmackDown to see. He beat just about everybody. He beat everybody just about. We just had to see, but the Universal Champion made his point clear, loud and clear on Raw on what he's going to do and who he set his sights on. We just don't know. I think it's going to be Drew McIntyre, the next challenger, or might be Brock. Who knows? Coming forward. So, like I said, we'll see on that next week. Also, too, honorable mentions. We want to mention this. What we want to mention? The Carmella and Corey are so in love. They made out so much, and then we know next week that Corey Graves won't be on Raw because he'll be on his honeymoon. But a familiar face on Raw will return to do commentary for just that week. Hopefully, whenever with Corey Graves, and then come back. We can tell you that if we can find the picture, tell you that we just saw. We tell you that Jerry the King Lawler will return to Monday Night Raw and provide his commentary once again for Raw for that week. So the King, Jerry Lawler, back on Raw once again to provide commentary. And with Corey and Carmella have their makeout section next week as well. Also, too, the Street Profits won their match. The Street Profits won their match over American Alpha. So Street Profits winning over the American Alpha and putting them down the tables match. Too, we know tonight on NXT, the newly crowned women's tag team champions Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez defend their titles against Toxic Attraction in a rematch. Toxic Attraction claims their rematch clause and they get a shot next week. And two, we said that Jared the King Lawler will make his return to Raw on color commentary. Once again, the King coming back just to commentate and see how that pans out for the King next week on Raw. Also, too, Cody Rhodes had a dark match, and he did impress with his dark match on Raw, defeating Kevin Owens. Cody Rhodes defeating KO. As you see right here, this gesture outside for the two, as well as Kevin Owens getting the attention of the Young Bucks. And we talking about the Young Bucks and Cody still having their unresolved issues. Cody trying to say he's moved on, and I don't know, Young Bucks hasn't moved on and then move on. So we know how that all plans out and stuff. So that ends the Raw Ring Report. Thank you all for watching this edition of the Pro Wrestling Show. We present the Raw Ring Report. We should come back tonight for the NXT Ring Report for the latest on NXT. So for me being Kendrick Dix saying so long, thank you for watching. See you later.